Hi there my dear friends, it's Kenji here and welcome back to Life of Clay, and also welcome to all our new viewers out there. Today I will be sculpting a flower, a pink orchid mantis, Hymenopus coronatus. And before we begin, please consider subscribing and turn on that bell icon so you won't miss out any of our future videos. So without further ado, come, bring the clay on and let's begin. I draw a quick sketch of this mantis as a guide in building her armature. And speaking of her armature, I use 1mm aluminum wire for the main body and 0.8mm bronze wire for the limbs that I wrap around the main wire. Hymenopus coronatus or pink orchid mantis is one of the most beautiful mantis in the world. No wonder they are highly demanded and is very popular amongst arthropod hobbyists and collectors. Orchid mantis color can change depending on exact camouflage required in the mantis habitat or even with their diet. Some are deep pink, white, purple, yellow, green, or brown. Adult female grow up to 3.5 inches in length from the tropical forest of Southeast Asia, originated from western ghats of India to Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, Myanmar, and Indonesia. Using 2 parts epoxy to bond them together and wrapping around a yarn to reinforce. Wrap the abdomen wire with aluminum foil to add bulk and then secure with masking tape. Bending the tip of the head wire into a round shape so it can hold the clay later. I wrap the bronze wire with tissue paper and glue, and after the glue dries, I brush them with resin and cure. This will give the wires the so-called tooth for the clay to cling properly. Sadly, this mantis can live only 8 to 9 months for the female, and if she don't get too much hungry, a male partner can survive and reach that 5 to 6 months marriage contract. Remarkably beautiful but deadly queen. Mantises lays not just a single egg but a sack of them called ootheca, and the shapes may differ depending on the species. It takes 2 months to hatch a 300 of their offspring, but not all of them survives and reach adulthood due to many perilous factors. And to conceal the dark colors of the epoxy and wire, I painted it with white gesso. I pre-sculpt the head and the thorax so I can have a good foundation and guide in doing the final detailing, and did the first baking. Now let's start sculpting her abdomen. I combine white and pink colored polymer clay and cover her abdomen, shape it based on the reference and add segments along with its texture. Next is sculpting her short 2 pairs of wings, since the mantis we are making is still a pre-sub-adult female. But these wings will grow and completely cover her abdomen when she becomes adult. Next is sculpting her trochanter, and after that do the second baking. Now let's sculpt those petal-like lobes of her legs, shaping these small balls of clay into teardrop form and trim one side. I first added a piece of clay on the top portion of her femur. This smaller lobe gives the mantis the more convincing petal-like shape of her leg that she used to attract insect prey by mimicking flower. And finally, attaching the larger lobe underneath, blend it and smooth it out. Giving her tibia a slender look by covering it with a thin sheet of clay. Brush them with alcohol and I cure the limbs with heat gun part by part because they are too delicate and complex. This makes the curing faster so I can resume sculpting the other limbs immediately. But after the whole sculpture is done, I will still bake it in the oven to finalize the curing process. Let's now sculpt her forelegs, starting with her coxa using a translucent white clay. Next is sculpting her femur using light pink colored clay, shaping it based on the reference, and I use my DIY grooving tool made out of soda can to give a shallow canal inside her femur. Smooth it out and proceed in sculpting the tibia. After brushing it with alcohol, poke the tibia for the tarsus and the femur for her rows of spines. Cure with heat gun and proceed in sculpting her head. Cover it with a thin sheet of clay and shape it into triangular form. Slice off the side of the head and attach her pointy eyes. Attaching the tiny horn on top of her head along with the ocelli, these are a collection of sensory cells situated between the compound eyes. Adding her prothorax carapace, shape it and add texture. And now she's ready for the final baking. These are plastic bristles that I used to make her tarsus, antennae, spines, cerci, and pedipalps that I attached to the sculpture using super glue. I used 2 parts resin and colored it with soft pastel of white and red. This will be the filler for the base of these spines. And to conceal the dark colors of these bristles, I painted them with white gesso. For the painting process, I first painted the white areas using plainly titanium white, diluted with acrylic medium. Next is painting all the pink areas with a combination of alizarin crimson and titanium white, brushing a thin coat of acrylic medium next to white areas for a smooth transition and to create gradient of pink and white. Next is painting the folded part of her abdomen, which is the mesothorax and metathorax, with plainly rose sienna. With a combination of burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, rose sienna, and sap green, I painted the lines on her abdomen, the anal part, and her antennae. And just raw sienna for her tarsus. Painting the lower edge of her prothorax carapace with the combination of sap green and bass yellow, creating gradient upward using acrylic medium. Painting the sides with the paint mix we use for her abdomen lines. Painting the green stripe of her horn with the green mix we use on her prothorax. Painting the stripes of her eyes with a combination of alizarin crimson and aqua blue, giving a wash of sap green and bass yellow mix on the tip of her eyes. Painting the black dot, which is an optical illusion called pseudo pupil, with burnt umber and black mix. And we can now seal her with water-based polyurethane varnish of gloss and matte that I mixed together. And I apply UV resin on her eyes to make them more lively, and then cure them with UV light. And there we go, our beautiful pink orchid mantis is finally done. I hope you like her and you enjoyed our tutorial this time. Thank you so much for watching and supporting our channel, and please subscribe and turn on that bell icon so you can watch more and won't miss out any of our future videos. See you again next time. Have a wonderful day, everyone.